So I had this idea that I want to make myself a kick scooter or a foot bike, and I I don't know why I want one. I guess because I'm a big kid and I just want one. So I went to the Bloomington Community Bike Project, grabbed this bike, and I'm gonna put this as the rear tire. So this white front wheel will become the back tire on my scooter, and then I probably won't permanently leave that red 700 on there, but for today, for the build, this is what it's going to be. And I like the color even. I think the blue is cool. And so if we do these three, we'll have red, white, and blue. And I also picked up a set of fenders that already has, sorry about that camera drop there, already has the holes drilled in to add the kind of the wire leads down to the hub, or sometimes they use like a crochet pattern to come down, or leather. I've seen them use raw, like a hide to stretch it down to the hub, but these already had those holes drilled in them on both sides, so even though they're pretty rusty, I thought they were pretty cool. It might make a really cool lamp to go ahead and wire that up, send everything down to the center, and put the light bulb behind it with an Edison bulb. So basically what happens is I'm going to cut the frame here and here, and I'm going to heat and bend and try and curve this around this fender as best I can, come down to a kick bike platform like a skateboard, and we're going to try and get this done today. The other great thing is this bike was only like $10, and still got the Columbia head badge on it. And it's not a classic Columbia, or I don't feel too bad cutting it up. So price was right anyway. And we'll take that center sprocket off, and we'll use that for some other project. And all the pedals and things are in decent shape, so we'll be able to use all this stuff for other things. So let me get started on that, and we'll turn you back on. I don't know if you can see this on the camera or not, but you can definitely see that tire's out. And I don't feel a bit bad cutting this bike up, because it's been hit. It's been hit about right here. You can actually see it up there versus that side. So, yeah, definitely worth cutting this one up. That, we have half a bike. So, I'm going to try cutting that a little bit straighter. It was a little hard getting in where I left everything on it. I could have taken it off, I guess, but it was a little hard getting in where everything was tight there. I switched to a smaller tool, so it's kind of choppy here. So I'm gonna actually maybe try straighten that cut up. I don't know, I may leave it because I may need the angle, but next thing we're gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna try and torch this kind of around that, and we'll see how easy or hard that is to do, to get kind of that curved look to it. So that's our next step. Okay, so we've got this kind of shaped, and I've just let it sit and cool, and kind of shaped it to the fender to pick it out so we can. So that comes around there, and then I just need to kick this down a little bit more, and then this piece I need to cut at an angle, and it's going to get welded to this bar here. So I just need to bend that around a little bit more, bend this one at that point down, and tack weld those together, and our top part will be done. So I've kind of got this hodgepodge together, and the difficult thing for a build like this is you don't have any support for any part of the bike. You cut the frame in half, and everything's able to move, and then you lock the wheel down so it can't move, but then the fork can spin, and the tubes themselves can spin independent of that. So So it's kind of hard to actually build it because just setting it up is challenging. So I think what I'm going to do is try and get it up on the table back there, and I'm going to spin the front rim around to where I can get to where the valve stem would come through. I'm just going to put a screw through it, I think, through the table, and then just use a clip like I did here for that, because in order to weld this and get it sort of kind of straight, want it as straight as possible. It's not as critical as a bicycle, I guess, but I don't think I can do it unless I bolted it down somehow. So we're gonna go with that. I had this set up here initially, and I don't think that I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm gonna go to the free pile, and I'm thinking that this tube here will sleeve over both this frame tube and that back frame tube as well. And then here I'm planning on just taking a piece of metal and kind of making a loop and coming back down, probably some steel rod or something, just to add some stability to that back support, since I cut half of it off. So on a regular bicycle it would be two pieces, so the weight would be distributed between those two pieces. The rims that I had up here, the rim sections, I also don't think are going to be strong enough. They look really cool, and I think that the look, once I got the flat piece of wood on there, would look okay. And I think once I got this welded up and ground down and painted, it would look fine. But I think we're going to go with this and cut a 45, and then I'll just angle it down this way, make my 45 cut, go back, tube it over that, and we're going to see how that looks. So let's go with that. My camera's telling me that I am out of memory, so I'm going to go download some videos onto the computer, and we'll get that cut, bent, and hopefully back on there, make sure it fits over that tubing and everything, and we'll pop you back on and go from there. I'm probably going to go ahead and get everything up on the little table there too, so we'll see how that goes. Got a little bit of an issue right at the end of this pipe, kind of not round anymore, and I need this little bend in it. It's already there, so I think it's going to be perfect on that bike frame. I'm going to heat that up just a little bit and see if we can't bend that back out straight so it'll sleeve over there perfectly. So, temporary delay. Okay, let's try this again, see if we can get it to work. Seems that it didn't like my formatting on the disc. So on the kickbike, I decided to not do the forks and do this red tubing instead. I had to kind of cut a notch sloppily out of here. This is a total whack job, if you will, here. Because this interior blue pipe had been flattened originally, and so then this rounded pipe wouldn't go up and over it. Put a weld in here, and I wanted to make sure that this tab came over this back piece here, so I'll tap that with the hammer and get that back as far as I can get it. And then I had to heat and bend this out a little bit more. And what I'm going to do now is go heat this and just try to bring that in as much as possible to this piece here. And I may have to add some tabs. Put this down, just adjust that to where you can see it. I may have to put some tabs to extend this back a little bit, because I'm putting 700 rims on this instead of the original 26. So we're going to have limited tire clearance here. I think the tire will clear, but I'm not 100% sure. So we got a little bit of room here. I heated and bent this out even more, so it's not going to be beautiful, but I don't think that's the point. The point's just see if I can make one, see how it'll turn out, and then maybe try and make another one if it turns out halfway sort of cool. So I'm going to have to undo this screw here. This is my holder, because the worst thing, like I said, about this is it's really difficult to hold all the pieces together. So I'm going to move that back enough to where we can kind of line these up a little bit better. It doesn't need to come back a whole heck of a lot, just a little bit. So we'll bring that back and see where we're at from there. So I'm just gonna move that back maybe a ½ inch or so, and that way it'll get us a little bit lined up for piecing those two sort of 45s back together. Turn you back on just a second.